Everyone kind of expects the Houston Cougars to take a step and even having a breakout season in 2025. We're going to take a look at if that's possible and look at why teams should be afraid of what Houston could be, as well as why the fan base is so optimistic about this team this year. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still a team that has a ton of work to do. There is a ton that needs to be fixed, and Willie Fritz is very aware of that, and it's not something that he's unfamiliar with. This is a guy who understands the challenges that have been ahead of him, and he has succeeded at every stop he's been at. This is a guy who knows how to rebuild a program. He knows how to get his team back on track, and it'll be fun to see how he can do that with Houston this year. This is a team that struggled last year mightily. This was a team that, plain and simple, did not play very well on offense. The defense, I think at times did its part, but the defense also has some work to do. And there are certain things that are a little bit of a concern on the defense that we'll talk about, but the offense is really where you're going to focus. You bring in Slade Nagel to potentially fix the offensive issues. I mean, this is a team that averaged 14 points a game, 2 touchdowns. That's it. That's not going to get the job done in any conference. Doesn't matter if you're in the Big 12, Conference USA, even the FCS. There's a lot of conferences that you're not going to do much by scoring just 2 touchdowns a game. And everyone knows that. The whole program is aware of that. And that's why you see so much new talent coming in. Willie Fritz knows that he had to bring in players to elevate the bottom line, to elevate this floor. And this is a team that expects to be better because of that. Now, Connor Wegman is going to be a big part of that. He is going to be part of the nucleus that potentially brings this team to another level. Now, Connor Wegman has not gone through college football without some issues. You look at his numbers from last year, only completed 56% of his passes, 819 yards, just 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. It's just not going to be a successful campaign for you if you're doing that. Now, playing at Texas A&M does give you an increased level of difficulty, and he did have competition with Marcel Reed, and ultimately it just didn't work out. Now, he has been taking his new opportunity very serious. It sounds like he's getting into shape. It sounds like they're very excited about what he brings to the table. And in a way, you have a different opportunity for him that maybe he fits better with Houston than he did at Texas A&M. Maybe he has better opportunities and a system that maybe fits his skill set a little bit better. Now, I'd like to see what he can do with his legs a little bit more. I think he still has the ability to do that. And that'll be fun to watch in this system. They obviously only really want to see what he can do with his arm. They'd like to sprinkle in some runs here and there, but overall, his arm talent is what they're going to rely on. And there's a reason why Texas A&M wanted him, right? There's a reason why he got recruited by so many different teams. And it's not just because he got lucky. It's not because of anything like that. He had the arm talent. He had the ability that people were excited about. And that's going to be a big reason why he's successful if he has a good year, is because he has that arm talent still. He has the ability to make some of those throws. And with the talent he has coming back and coming in via the portal, there's plenty of talent to find downfield. Now, a super underrated transfer they brought in was Dean Connors. And the reason being is that he's going to be your really good running back that you rely on the ground game, but also he's a big time threat in the passing attack as well. You can put in multiple running back sets in this offense, and you can almost use Dean Connors as a wide receiver. You have plenty of depth at that position too. Rayshawn Sanford is going to be a really fun player to watch. Stacey Snead deserves a lot of credit for his loyalty to this program as well. Hopefully you're seeing that this is a running back position that with its depth and with its talent should be able to take things to another level. The wide receiver position is kind of up in the air. There's plenty of competition. There's plenty of excitement. Stephon Johnson returns, and he is someone that I think a lot of people are talking about having a breakout season. You bring in a couple of transfers in Harvey Broussard and Amari Thomas. You're expecting some big things from them. And then you also get Tanner Cozy, who caught 94 passes at Ball State last year. Initially transferred to Wisconsin, then decides that that wasn't the right fit, comes to Houston. Now, I don't really know how to feel about that. If it was, it really all depends on who you talk about, right? Some people from Wisconsin side would probably say, well, he just wasn't going to compete for us. Other people would say, this is a big win for Houston. we'll find out who's right pretty quick. The offensive line is going to play a big role, and the guy I'm very curious to watch is Demetrius Hunter. This is the guy who committed the previous regime. He's had his ups and downs, but has a lot of upside when it comes to playing the center position. It'll be fun to see how he thrives. You do have a couple of guys that are versatile, that can play center, can play guard, and Hunter could be one of them, but also you feel pretty good. If he is your center and he is thriving, this offense is going to be just fine. The defense is still going to do its part. And while they did give up nearly 23 points per game, at times this was the defense that kept this team in games. And you can see that Austin Armstrong deserves a ton of credit for his skill set, his ability to call plays. And this year's defense is going to look a little bit different, but they have plenty of returning talent that should be really good, but they also bring in a lot of talent. You had 2 late departures to the transfer portal in the secondary, and this is a secondary that probably has your biggest concern if you're looking for a concern here. You bring in 2 Wyoming transfers in Rook Brown and Kenny Parks. You have Kentrell Webb coming back. That's a nice piece to have returning. From Southern Miss, you get Will James. From Georgia Southern, you get Mark Stampley. You have plenty of other players in that secondary that are going to play a role. And that's probably your biggest concern on this side of the ball. The secondary lost 2 big-time players in Jeremiah Wilson and AJ Halsey. Those were 2 guys that you didn't. Honestly, I thought that Houston was going to keep them, and that was really surprising. I still feel optimistic about what this team can do despite those losses. Those are 2 guys you want back, plain and simple. And I think if you ask Willie Fritz, he'd probably tell you, if he was going to speak candidly, that those 2 guys will be missed. That being said, they feel that they got some good guys coming back that won't exactly replace them, but still give this secondary a chance to be competitive and be successful. A lot of what they're going to be able to do, though, is going to start up front. Now, Corey Platt Jr. is coming back from an injury. You also bring in Jesus Machado from Tulane. So you feel really good about the linebacker position. The defensive line has 2 new faces in Khalil Lafau and Joshua Donald. Those are 2 transfers coming in, but the edge positions in Carlos Allen and Brandon Mack are set. Overall, I think you feel confident about this team's ability to win games. It's just going to come down to it's going to come down, I think, what kind of start they get off to. So you're going to beat Stephen F. Austin and Rice. If you're Houston, you should expect that. The Colorado game, though, is really where we're going to find out how good this team actually is. That Colorado team is going through a transition. They don't have a bunch of their best players, but they've done a great job of replacing talent. And stopping Kaden Salter is going to be a challenge. If they win that game, I still like how this team can compete in the next few games. Oregon State is going to be a winnable game, but it's also going to be a challenge. It's on the road. It's on the West Coast. Texas Tech is a team that's bought in for a college football playoff run. I don't think Houston is going to win that game. Oklahoma State and Arizona give you 2 more potential wins. And if you do win those first 4 games and you beat Oklahoma State and Arizona, you're already at a bowl game. That's crazy. And we're not even into November. Then you get more winnable games. You're probably not beating Arizona State, but you do play West Virginia and UCF. And then you finish the year with TCU and Baylor. If you're sitting at 8-2 heading into the TCU game, I feel pretty good about what Houston can do against TCU, against Baylor. That's things that if you build enough confidence, you feel confident about your ability to win some of those tougher games, those 50-50 games, or even the games that you're not exactly you're a big underdog in those. Those are games that maybe you feel more confident that you can win. Maybe you're going to be able to pull off an upset. I mean, we saw this Houston team surprised us multiple times last year, and this was a bad Houston team. Now, if you get some more confidence, if you feel like you're a better team, you're suddenly in those games. You're suddenly more competitive, and when it comes down to it, you feel like you have the right guys in place to win in those difficult situations. I'm excited to see what Houston can do. Willie Fritz obviously has a great track record that says that this is probably going to happen sooner rather than later. And if they're able to do that, this is going to be a really fun team for a program that is desperate to get back to its winning ways.